let us learn today how to find out or how to check whether a given number is strong number or not. Right? Now, can you tell me what you mean by a strong number? What do you mean by a strong number? Any one of you? So, like other programs, here we need to accept one input, and that input will be a number. So let us consider that input will be stored in a variable called n. And once this input is given, our expected output will be yes or no. Yes means yes, the given input is strong number, and no means the given input is not strong number. Now, what do you mean by a strong number is, I'll tell you. Let us consider the value of n. I am taking an example of a strong number, which 145 is called as a strong number. Yes, some of you have told the right answer. 145 is a strong number. What do you mean by that one? So what we need to do is, we need to take the individual numbers. So what is the individual number? We got 1, we have 4, we have 5. Now these individual numbers, we need to take the factorial of these individual numbers. So 1 factorial is required to be taken, 4 factorial and 5 factorial, and then we need to sum up these things. Right? So this total, whatever you are doing after this, whatever you are doing, the value you will get here is 145. So if you are getting the same value and this value is equal to your original value, then it is nothing but then that number is called as a strong. I'll repeat once again. Sum of factors of individual numbers of the given number is equal to the original number, then that number is referred to as a strong. Got it, all of you? Our original number is 145, and we have taken the individual numbers, and the factorials of those individual numbers are taken, and we have added them. The total is equal to the original number. Here we got 145. Here we got 145. This is 1 plus 24 plus 120. So total is 145. So you will be getting the total of 145, which is equal to your original number. Then in that case, you can say the given number, whatever we are considering, is a strong number. Now we need to write down the logic for this one. So in the last class, in the yesterday's class, we learned about how to get the individual number. We all learned how to get the individual number, and also we learned how to find out the factorial of a number also. So we need to just combine those two things. Can anyone of you tell me how to get the individual number? Maybe it is difficult to get the 1 first. It is easy to get the 5 first. And then we can get 4, and then we can get 1. So individual numbers can be accessed. So this can be converted like this, I think. I'm writing like this for your convenience. 5 factorial plus 4 factorial plus 1 factorial is equal to 145. 145. So we have converted this one like this. Now in the last class we learned how to get an individual number. We have used the modulus operation and we have used the division operation. I will show you that one. Sum of individual digits of a number. We want to get the individual value 3, 2, 1. To do that task, we have used this modulus operation, and to get from 112, so that we can get the next digit, we have used this slash operation. Right? So we have used these two operators, modulus operator and the slash operator, to get the individual digits of a number. And also we learned how to find the factorial of a number also. This is the logic for finding the factorial of a number. Now what we need to do, we need to just combine these two things to check whether a given number is perfect number or not. Right? So to do that task, let me copy this one, because we need to ask the user to enter a number. So I have copied that one. So I have asked the user to enter a number, and that number has been stored in a variable called n. Now, what is the next thing we need to do? We need to do what we need to do. We need to get the first digit. That means we need to get 5 first, and then for that 5 we need to check. We need to find out the factor. So let us write the logic to get the individual values. How to get the individual values? You already know the logic to get the individual values. This is the logic where it is not required to perform the sum. Let me copy the complete thing. Okay. Observe carefully what I'm doing. No need to find out the addition sum. Just we want to get the R value, reminder value. Once this reminder value is available with you, what do you mean by reminder? This 5 for the first step. Now what we need to do, this R, for this R we need to find out the factorial, isn't it or not? So to find the factorial, what is the logic we have? We have this logic already done. Okay. I'll copy here, but we need to do some changes here. Control V. I am taking I value is not n here. I value should be for the R. We need to find out the factorial. So here it should be R. Understood all of you? And we need to repeat this task. And once this is done, we need to find out this factorial. And once this factorial, we got this factorial, what we need to do? Once this factorial is found, we need to add this factorial to the sum, isn't it or not? We got 5 factorial. Remember, this statement is to get your, I'll write here comment. This statement is to get your number 5. Now, this logic is to find out your 5 factorial. Okay. Now, once you got the 5 factorial, what you need to do? This 5 factorial is needed to be added to a variable called sum. So let us call initially sum is stored with 0, and let me store that value in sum. Let us call that sum as 0. So initially I will be taking s equal to 0, and I think I need to declare the R variable also, right? So what I will be doing here, s equal to s plus whatever factorial value I get, that f I will be adding with the sum. So finally, you will be adding that one to sum, and then afterwards what we are doing, we are performing this operation. Why we are performing this operation? This operation we are performing why? Because let us consider 145 you have given. You need to get the next to 14. So n value will be 14 now, and again you are repeating the same task from here. So the while loop is from here to here. So let me shift this one to it. The while loop is from here to here. So this will be repeated up to n value is greater than 0. So the logic is very simple. What is the logic? Just get the individual digit, find out the factorial of that individual digit, and then add the factorial value to the sum and get the next 2 digits. In our case, we have given 3 digits. That's why next 2 digits, and repeat the loop. N value is greater than 0. Again, get the next value. In this case, you will get next value as 4. You will be getting the 4 factorial, and that will be added to your number. And then you will get the next value of 1. And here you will be getting the remainder of 1. And then we are finding the 1 factorial here. And finally, you will get a value of 0. And then the loop will be terminated here. And finally, what you need to do, your value is available in the sum. Right? So what you need to do, you need to check if sum whatever you got is equal to your original n value or not. So what happened? The original n value we are losing here. So to do that task, what we will do is let us store initially our n value into a temp variable. Okay, why I am doing this one? Because we are changing the n value. We want to compare this n value with our sum value. So to have the original value of n, so t will be holding the original value of n. So I am comparing s with t, and if both are equal, then what we need to do? We need to just print yes strong. Okay, or else if both are not equal, then what you need to do? Else, what you need to print? You need to print no, not a strong, right? So this is the end of your program. I hope you all are clear with this program. What we have done, we have asked the user to enter a number and store that number in n, and for each time we are performing the modulus operation to get the remainder. That means the last digit, and that for that last digit we are finding the factorial, and that factorial value will be stored in f, and that f will be added to the sum. And to get the next digit, we need to perform this division operation. Again, the loop should be repeated. So this loop should be repeated for all the individual values. Now finally, we have our sum value in S, and this sum value need to be compared with your original value which is stored in P, and we are comparing these two. If both are equal, then we will be displaying yes, it is a strong number, or else it is not a strong number. Right? Is this code clear to you all? Note down this program, all of you. This is how you need to write out the logic to check whether a given number is strong number